Industrialization and urbanization. During the late 19th century and early 20th century, many people moved to large industrialized metropolises such as New York City and Philadelphia. The Industrial Revolution changed where people worked as well as how they worked. Industrialization affected the economy as large groups of people immigrated to cities to find work. Industries were drawn to cities as cities offered good transportation and a plentiful amount of workers. This growth of cities is called urbanization. Political machines such as Tammany Hall contributed to the growth of cities, though they were corrupt. Many advances in technology occurred in architecture as well. The skyscraper was invented along with the use of an iron and steel skeleton to support the weight of 10 stories. Two groups of people who immigrated to the cities were rural farm workers and immigrants. These workers moved to large cities as even workers with few skills could find work in factories. Two inventions that made city life possible were elevators and streetcars. Streetcars allow up to 5 billion people yearly to find transportation through cities and did not require the use of temperamental and messy animals. Instead, they were electric. The Otis elevator, invented in 1889, allowed people to climb high stories in buildings. Because of the elevator and the steel skeleton, skyscrapers boomed. The concentration of immigrants and people moving into large cities caused severe overcrowding and problems in urbanized areas. One outcome of these situations was tenements. A tenement is an apartment, usually small and run down, that is owned by a landlord yet is neglected. Many tenements did not have running water, and as a result, people had to walk outside to the street to get water. This water from the street was often unsafe for drinking, but okay for bathing. Many poor people in cities were forced to live in tenements. Tenements usually were messy and offered little in terms of sanitation and hygiene, resulting in many being sick. Many people dumped trash out their window, infiltrating their only fresh air source with sewage and waste. Tenements were grouped together in sections of cities called slums. Slums such as the Lower East Side in New York had overcrowded and dangerous housing. Poverty in slums disgusted many Americans. Urban reformers fought to change these through the social gospel movement, aimed to improve the life of the poor to teachings of Christian values against child labor and other labor reforms. Jane Addams was an urban reformer who formed a settlement house for poor citizens called the Hull House. These settlement houses were viable, clean, and safe alternatives to tenements and slums. Settlement houses helped the poor as they offered services such as daycare, education, and healthcare to people who would normally not be able to afford them. Overall, industrial American cities were pretty bleak and depressing places to live in during the turn of the century. However, with settlement houses, the social gospel movement, the skyscraper, and the streetcar, these situations were reversed to actually be places people would like to live in.